Hey YouTube, so this is a guitar talking rubbish, just general nonsense part 4. Things you were afraid to ask or something. Someone suggested I talk about amps, so I'm going to do that a little bit. Kind of going a wee bit more for the how much money you have to spend to learn to play the guitar, really. So I'm starting off with my most expensive guitar. This is like the spec list of gods, you know what I mean? It's a single piece walnut body. It's all hand built. Claussens and DiMarzio super distortion, a DiMarzio tone zone, a Gotob bridge, and a 6-weight. Basically, the ultimate best guitar, the best guitar I've ever played. Straight up, I'm playing it through. This isn't my favourite amp. My favourite amp's my Sovtech, but it's a bit loud for the house. This is an Orange TH30, 700 quid or something like that. But I'm not even using the internal speaker, which is fine. I'm using the 3 Celestion greenbacks from the 80s, probably a couple £100 each. On the floor, I've got a rat pedal, which I've not got on just now. It's an original rat pedal, so a couple hundred quid, something like that. And the reverb, this amp doesn't have reverb, comes in at, I think it's a Moore Shimverb, think about 80 quid, something like that. So top of the range stuff, all the way. So that's the mic there. So I'm kind of pointing, it's got 3 speakers there pointing at it. And then you put the distortion on, which is what I prefer. Because I've used the neck pickup for a bit of distortion. So my super fancy original rat pedal on there. So there we go. So we've got a 25.5-inch scale. I'm not using, this has got humbuckers in it, but I'm using it as single coils. So we get single coils, both single coil. Single coil is what this is currently set to, seeing as the guitar I'm about to play doesn't have humbuckers, so not a fair representation. So yeah, so that's what happens when you've got, I'm not going to say virtually unlimited amount of funds to buy your guitar, and on the other hand, ta-da! Got a cheapy strap. This is a Gould. Basically, I think you're talking, there's not a lot of difference between this and the £150 Squire, something like that. If you're looking at it, you know, you can get a second-hand Squire strap for under 100 quid anyway. I'm playing through this rolling cube. No, we're just on distortion right now. We've got it clean. Right, so also there was a tuner pedal in that line. So this one's got a clip-on tuner, which you can get for a £5, less than a £5, something like that. A brand new digital clip-on tuner, which tunes the guitar just as well as a pedal does. a Roland's Microcube, which I'm thinking you can probably get one of them for 50 quid. Probably relatively easily. And we're just on a cable. So grand total, if you're looking at it for buying used without, 100 quid, something like that. Whereas like a pickup in that's worth 100 quid, pretty much, just with the pedals or one of the speakers, or and it's like one of those things. It's like you don't need to have fantastic gear to be able to play. Not really played very much actually. You've got a bit of reverb on. This amp has reverb. The orange doesn't. Oops, the volume, the tone, check down. Not as much too long. Fresh pickup. And if I go to the distortion channel, which this amp has, so does that one to be fair. Classic stack, I suppose that's kind of like a march. Try not to stand in front of the mic. Yeah, so I don't know how much this is actually going to pick up between the two, because obviously YouTube compresses things a bit. That's still a good sound. And it's like, if I was, I don't know, 20% not as good on the guitar, do you think I would sound better with this rig? The way I play just now, or if I was 20% not as good, like 2 years ago, 3 years ago, whatever it is, playing the expensive stuff, which sounds better? Yeah, exactly. It's like, I was saying this before about earlier on, guitars, give Jimi Hendrix this, and give me Jimi Hendrix's rig, and Jimi Hendrix will sound better. It's like, that's just, there's a point where a guitar gets to, as long as the guitar actually works and is playable, which this one is, it's actually quite nice. The strings on it are ancient. I mean, it's been quite, mind you, the strings on the corker are brand new, but at least they've been played. Plus also, that's been my main guitar for the last few months, because it's my favourite, it's the best guitar in the world. This one I've only played a couple of times. I did a video on it a couple of months ago when I picked it up. So I don't really play this one often, so I'm not used to it. So really just don't be held up with, I need to get, there's very much a culture on the forums. I'm going on about the forums again, and on all your YouTube videos and stuff like that, where an awful lot of people spend a lot of time accumulating gear when they should actually be just learning to play the guitar, or just playing a bit more. I mean, everyone's guilty of it. What you want to do is start a YouTube channel as soon as you can play, so that it forces you to play for, and do big long stupid videos where you play for half an hour at a time. So you're actually forced to play. Yeah, but I mean, it's one of those things. So it's just like kind of just be wary of. But I see a lot of people, especially you see a lot of people you're buying really expensive pedals. Oh, I want to get the pedal that Steve Vai uses or whatever. I'm not saying it's not a good pedal. Of course it is. It'll be an amazing pedal. If you're running a rig like that, basically, I'm not using that speaker, so imagine that's like an orange. But it's a 3x12. That's a supreme gig and amp, as good as they get. Not that far removed from like your 50-watt Marshall that Van Halen used and all that. Really, you know what I mean? It's not significantly super different. He managed to do that. That's what he was using for recording and on gigs, and which obviously I don't need in the house. That's just silly. But I'm quite silly. So it's obviously nice to have it, and obviously, you know, this is not. It's okay to some. It's a Stratocaster copy. It doesn't have the right shaped headstock, which is your Squire. If you buy a Squire one, will have the correct shaped headstock. And it's quite lightweight. It's just perfectly nice. This one's I got cheap because it's. You can see there if you forget the light to hit off it. It looks like some kids hit it with a hammer. You can see these dents in it, which makes no difference to the sound, obviously, and you can't even feel them. It just makes it a bit ugly, and obviously not as worth money, not worth as much money. But all the important bits are there. It has 6 strings. Therefore, it's got 6 saddles. It's got pickups, the electric to work. You know, I've obviously done a little bit of setup. I didn't do that much. I didn't have to do that much to this. I mean, I could unset up the corker. You know, basically when I brought that back from America, and I played it against this would sound better, because the strings were buzzing and stuff, because the neck had adjusted itself because it'd been in the plane of in the cargo hold of a plane, and it'd come from Pennsylvania where it hung in a shop window for 3 years and stuff like that, you know. As opposed to just well, it didn't. To be honest, it didn't really play that well when I over there in the shop, and maybe that's why I hadn't sold. It was kind of struggling a little bit. Now it's amazing, and it's obviously much nicer to look at, and you can talk about it for hours. I can. Look at this. Oh, it's got a crazy neck and all that stuff. But I mean, is it easier to play? No, really. I wouldn't have said. It's better for doing all the really fancy fast stuff and articulate notes and all that stuff. You know, if you're playing, try to do something really, really complicated, yeah. But if you're just battering out chords, or, you know, learning basically what I'm playing just now, kind of wee bits of lead and stuff like that, this is actually easier to play than that for a beginner. You know, I'd almost recommend this over that. So just, you know, I'm aware there are people, you know, buying, thinking, oh, I'm going to start playing the guitar, and it's like up here with £800 to spend, and you're like, right, and put £700 in the bank, and then see if you're going to enjoy getting a guitar. Also, the amount of money you'd lose on it as well. And I'm talking about even buying these things. I would still recommend getting a Yamaha Pacifica and a Roland Cube, which was at one point, maybe when I started playing 25 years ago or 20 years ago, that was what all the boring people bought. Oh, it's boring. Oh, it's like, yeah, but now it's not boring. Now it's fantastic. I can't help sing the praises of this amp. Also it runs on batteries. So okay, it might cost you a wee bit more to get a power socket, but I'm kind of running this in batteries just to see how long the batteries last. This has also does other things, which this hasn't really turned into an amp thing, but basically if you're looking at starting out, get yourself an electric guitar. That's the important bit, and then find a Roland Cube. Microcube, as I said, it's the best investment. It does the most. I mean, even I haven't even used this since I found it out in the last video I did of it, but it's got an acoustic simulator on it. And straight up, I would put that as an open challenge. Can you make the most expensive guitar I got, the expensive amp, all that stuff, sound as much like an acoustic as This, would that be amp? No, you can't use. Also, talking about the effects as well. I mean, I'm not a big effects guy. I do the. Yeah, okay. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 pedals. A tuner. That doesn't count. You can just use this. It just be as good. That's quite cool. I think it's ugly. I hate seeing gigs when you see someone with that sitting on the headstock. But I had a tuner pedal anyway from before these existed. I've got the rat pedal, which I like, which has got this is all to do with my loop pedal, which I'm not including in this. Then I've got a Joyo pedal. It's just a cheapie. A sort of lower distortion than the rat does. Then I've got a super fuzz. Then I've got a sort of Black Sabbath pedal. Then I've got a delay pedal, which I rarely use. And then I've got the reverb, which is pretty much always on. Whereas this one does actually have. What is it? What was the thing about delay? This has got delay. Not on the, not using the acoustic. Yeah, sorry. It's also got, turn that off, we've got chorus. We've got, and these are all variable. I'm just cycling through things. So like that's flanger, and then what's the last one? I can't see it. Oh no, it's not. That's the tone control. Tremolo, which I never use either. Yeah, so like, how's that not a really good sound? Obviously, there's a wee bit of a proviso there. Well, I'm saying that to be honest. This one you can play in a field. This one you can play proper gigs with, because obviously that goes up much louder. You're not going to be able to play that along with a drum kit. You know, it's only a wee battery thing. But I mean, just for basically anything you can do in a room in your house. Roland Cube. I said someone mentioned that I was having a look at amps and stuff like that. Of all the ones I've had, I've even got I do quite rate this. The wee Black Star, my pal painted this. So this has been J-Paxed. Who wants to buy a J-Paxed one? To be honest, I would just sell you the J-Paxed one and then buy another one myself. Does it get batteries in it? It does. Yeah, so I mean, this is I suppose I don't know what the going rate for these. I think that they're probably quite expensive new, but now that they're a wee bit older, I think you can get them quite cheap. Was that delay? We don't want that one. Clean. It's actually got delay on it as well. It's the only effect it's got to do without it. It's even got distortion. So I mean, it's one of those ones, if you can find one of these cheap, these are enough a handy thing to have. I do like the wee, I do love the wee Black Star. It doesn't sound as good as a Roland Cube though. There is like a sort of, there's a physics element going on about how much air a speaker can actually move, and the speaker's only that size, so it's sort of a 3-inch speaker or something like that, and then that'll be a 4 or a 5-inch speaker, and that's got 3 12-inch speakers in it, so 36 inches worth of speaker. So that tells you how much air and volume you can get out it before when it's still working. So it's kind of like a bit. Don't be falling for the gear snob thing. I suppose it kind of depends what you want. I love the. I'm not one for effects, as I said, but I wouldn't have bought quite a few pedals if that had been my amp. You know, it's like I bought a chorus pedal because I wanted to try it and see what it was like. It's got a chorus. No, it's not as good as like a Boss separate chorus pedal, but a Boss separate chorus pedal costs more than that whole amp does, and it's got chorus in it. And the chorus actually. This is my first ever real go at having chorus. It's got like a. Because it's modern, it's like a jazz chorus. If you like the 80s. Put tons of reverb on it as well. All the reverb. So I should know this. I've got the arm in this. Not one for effects. I do like a wee bit of reverb though. That amount. That's because reverb doesn't count as an effect. It's more like having it in a bigger room. You know what I mean? You could, back in the Beatles days and stuff like that, the way you got reverb was... Actually, I watched a program... Rick Beato was in the Beatles reverb room, which is basically a big empty room with a speaker at one end and a microphone at the other. So basically you would play whatever it was you'd recorded through the speaker at one end and record it at the other, and it was just in a big echoey room. Hence reverb. So that's kind of simulating that. It's like playing in a bigger room. But yeah, so I mean, recommendations for amps. I mean, I think I don't even know if you get Roland Cubes anymore. You get Boss Katanas and stuff like that, and I'm just very much a case of they're very expensive. And it's like, okay, you might never find a Gould. There's not an awful lot of these kicking about, really, but there's lots of a relatively inexpensive Strat copy. Don't buy a Harley Benton, but anything else, you know, there's a few on my avoid list. Really cheap makes, but any Aria, Yamaha, Ibanez that's relatively new, and it doesn't. When I say good condition, I mean in good condition. I mean as in it's got all the strings on it, and it's the strings aren't miles away from the fingerboard. It plays good. Obviously, having stickers on it or having dents in it, they just make the guitar cheaper. They don't actually affect how it works in any way. So just don't be pushed too far into thinking you have to spend a lot of money to get what. I mean, I'm totally happy with that. I'm just playing this all night, no problem at all. I have to say that the distortion on it, I mean, we are talking about something that costs 100th as much as the other rig. The distortion isn't as good. I do like my rat pedal into the big speakers to get the proper Sabbath sound, but it's not a bad approximation of it. But the clean sound on it's a phenomenal thing. Also, to get, if you're mad into heavy metal and stuff, you're unlikely to be buying a Strat with single coil pickups. You're more likely to be looking at something that's a bit more, or basically what you want is a Strat with a humbucker here, so you get a bit more of the rock thing when you're on. Put it in march. But you can still play Black Sabbath on it. You can still, probably with less reverb. It's also loud enough to play along with, try and play with other people if you can, especially they're going to show you stuff that they know, because everything that somebody tells you, like a genuine person, not somebody trying to give you a lesson, somebody, just one of your pals, they'll tell you what they find was an important thing to learn. That's kind of what these videos are for. It's like, you know, playing a D and an A, just like, you really, you want to learn. There is a bit of a slog at the start. You really want to be able to play a G and a D and an A and an E and an F, and then you want to try and work in the bar chord, which is horrible, but you get it. That's why Comfortably Numb's good, because it's all those chords. Hello! Anybody in there? A, G, now a wee bit of lead, if you can call it that. And then of course it's, it is a pain you are receiving. Just chips on the horizon. You're only coming through in waves. Your lips move back, I can't hear what you say, because I become comfortably numb. Like that. I was going to keep going until I made a mistake. I did make a mistake, but it was very nearly there. I don't really want to play that song. That's a theme from Local Hero, if you've never seen Local Hero. Good film. And that song, and it's amazing. But the record's not as good in the record, but in the film it's brilliant. Mark Knopfler. But I just think, even if you look at, I'm kind of going from, that was me actually playing just by turning the volume down, showed you the difference. Still got sort of some clean. Then just put the volume up. It does it all. I mean, modern, even, it's just when you're looking up a wee amp, I would basically buy the guitar first. You can plug these into your computer, plug the guitar into your phone or into a hi-fi or something like that. I mean, if you're talking about, I'm thinking of starting playing the guitar, I've got £1,000 to play with, I would still suggest, even if you're buying this stuff brand new, which I to be honest I wouldn't, you're looking at 150, 200 quid, thereabouts, probably. I don't know how much a Roland Cube costs, new. They're not cheap, new, but because they're now old, I mean, that's probably 25 years old, so this is all old technology, but it's all artificial digital stuff, whereas this is all tubes and valves and wires and hamsters and wheels and all that stuff inside it. But don't listen to other people, listen to what you hear. And there's so much important on the guitar being in tune, which I'm probably a wee bit guilty of there, but the thing is, because I'm kind of used to it, once you get better at the guitar, See when you're playing a chord and it's not, the note's not quite right, you bend it a wee bit until it is right. E fine, A fine, D fine, G, B. Okay, it is in tune. I was just checking it, but that's what's important. So if you're sitting there and you're playing, oh, this guitar sounds rubbish. Oh no, that's the wrong amp and you've got the wrong pedals. No, you're not holding the strings down correctly. And you're not hitting it right. That's more likely to make a difference than having the most expensive rig. You know what I mean? I'm doing something which I obviously didn't do when I started. I'm now, because I'm quite good in the guitar, not being big-headed saying that, I maybe can't impress guitarists, but someone who doesn't play the guitar thinks I'm brilliant. You know, basically if you could go... Anyone who doesn't really know anything about guitars is going to be like, oh my god, how could you do that? You know. But there's so much more in the confidence of playing it. You know, it's like I could play more notes than that. That's a much more complicated thing, but this is really simple, but I'm playing that really well, whereas I was intentionally playing that badly. Because quite a lot of the best guitar bits are, I'm sure something to do, I'm trying to think of a solo. You know, it's like a lot of solos are just one note, or like the good bit, the bit you remember, is a relatively simple thing. Paranoids, faster than that. One of the best solos ever in Paranoid, and it's not exactly, it's not, you know, pages and pages of tab, and it's not very long, and it's quite simple. You've got a fair chance of, once you're able to move between the notes, what is important is they're clean and you're trying to get them at the same volume. You know, sort of like... Yeah, I think the problem is once you've been playing the guitar for 20 years, it's very difficult to play intentionally badly. You know, it's like I put my fingers, all those notes ring. Whereas if you're kind of not holding or letting one of the important notes is just buzzing. It's very different from playing it right. Just be good. One of these things is, I've seen people are, you know, learning to play the guitar, and it's trying to, it sounds really odd, but trying to listen to what you're playing. Recording it in some fashion is a good idea, so you can listen back to it. Obviously these days, in the modern age, we never used to have video cameras on our phones and stuff when I was learning to play, so I used to record in like a tape deck, remember them? And I had the guitar plugged straight into the tape deck, so it sounded awful, but at least I could hear if I was playing all the notes. You know, it's quite, because you're concentrating too hard and putting your fingers in the right place, it's what it sounds like at the end. And if it's not sounding right, definitely check the tuning, because your guitar's got to be in tune. Once you've been playing for a while, you start noticing. You know, I'll just pick up a guitar and go, oh, that's not right. I couldn't. Sometimes, you know, you see Hendrix tunes lap you up. He knows when he's playing at the B's a wee bit flat or whatever it is. But you know, I couldn't really tell you what's not right when you strum a chord. It's up here, but something that doesn't sound right. There's something wrong. Check the tuning. It could be any one of the strings, all the strings, anything like that. I also get comments on. I was doing a 30-watt Marshall, right, which is actually quite a good amp. I'm going to, well, it's in a situation when you're playing along with a not super loud or a drummer, the 30-watt Marshall's better than the Cube, because if you bang it up full bung, it can be heard along with somebody playing the drums. So I mean, for that, can't compete. But I mean, it's not a bad amp. And I've got comments going, I had one of these, it's the worst amp I've ever heard. And you're like, you didn't actually watch the video, did you? Because, did you listen to it? Did you use your ears? Because it sounded really good. Especially as you're listening to it recorded on that microphone, then it goes through all its compression and algorithms, and then you're downloading it and listening to it on your phone. You know what I mean? That's not really a super judgment on what it actually sounds like to say, oh, that sounds pure awful, when you're like, you know, somebody's sitting there next to a motorway, you know what I mean, on their phone going, oh, that sounds crap. You're listening to it on your phone, the speaker is that size. How good's it ever going to sound? You know, so at least judge it when it's in the room. And again, you get the sort of, there's an element of, I mean, I never used to like the jazz chorus, which is actually the sound that I'm on just now. That's not good for playing Black Sabbath. Yep, I mean, now that I can play it, I would play Black Sabbath in that, but, you know, it's like, if you want to play, it's like pure, oh, that's the worst amp ever. It's like saying, it's like pure, oh, what about a Ferrari Testarossa, or whatever it is, the worst car ever. Total shit. Absolutely useless. I can't take my big Marshall amp in it. Okay. Whereas, so the Panda, I've got Fiat Panda, is better because it does take an amp, or it's got 5 seats in it, so I can take extra people in it. So the Ferrari's pure shit. It's only got 2 seats. You know, so you got, there's like things for different things. But as an all-rounder, kind of does a little bit of everything, and it's really good at quite a few things. Especially the clean sounds, and basically what I would consider how your practicing sound you should be going for is not pure blazingly loud, not having lots of distortion on, kind of, so you can actually hear what it is you're doing. And although it's like again, it's that things like vibrato, just bending it a wee bit rather than just hitting it. It's a bit different, and it's a next, look how clear the notes are. I mean, that is just is where you want to be at, rather than trying to learning all these things, solos out a book or off the internet and all that. It's like and everyone learns slightly differently as well. That's what I was saying. I kind of went off topic a wee bit again. What were the chances of that? Imagine me going off topic, really. When you're asking your pals, or even ask your pals anyone you think's good on the guitar. Obviously, asking your pal who can play the guitar but you think he's terrible, it's probably not the best person, but it's still going to be able to show you stuff. And some people learn, and when I work something out myself, I tend to remember it. Might take a little bit longer. It's just the way your brain's wired. Some people love having like the tab, or they watch lessons, and they just want to learn how to play this song. They're not interested in playing anything else. I don't agree with that. I mean, whatever you want. I just want to learn how to play this song by Pink Floyd. That's why I want to play the guitar. I get it, but the best way of just learning how to play this one song that you want to play is probably not just immediately going straight into it and then trying to play all the solos. You're probably better learning all the basic chords first, so you're quite competent with them. And I used to just sit there and just basically try and change as fast as you can. That kind of thing was actually, I wonder. I think it's a U2 song. There's a U2 song called Desire that's that. I don't think I've ever heard the song, but I do remember my pals playing that on the guitar and going, I think it's just G. And just literally just sitting keep doing it until you can do it. You'll also see an awful lot of cheaty things that later on guitarists do as well. This is just an all-round shite talk, by the way. So I was playing a D, right? Actually, if you ever check out Foxy's guitar channel, Gary Fox, he's a cool guy. So I can't remember who it is. Someone is absolutely infuriated with him because he plays a D like that. Doesn't make any difference. Totally fine. But that's a D. So's that. The thing about that one is though, to make a D minor, it's easier to go from D minor to D if you play a D that way around, you're playing exactly the same notes in the same order, you just get your fingers in a different order, whereas I would play it like that. But then if I wanted to change to a D minor, I'll have to move more fingers, as opposed to... But he likes playing along with backing tracks, which is totally fine. I don't get on with backing tracks. I don't know what it is. I remember back when we used to get these things, they were like sort of glossy paper things about this big, and it had like pages, called a magazine. You used to get magazines, and that would, in them you would get a CD, a compact disc. It's like an old format. There's like a circular disc that's sort of shiny, and it holds 80 minutes of music, and you play it in a CD player, kind of like a DVD, apart from only just music. So you'd get backing tracks for your like blues and A, and you could solo over the top of it. For some reason, that doesn't appeal to me. Still doesn't. I don't like playing along with backing tracks. There's nothing wrong with playing with backing tracks. It's a personal choice thing. I don't like it. I do a lot of playing along with my own sort of backing tracks with the loop pedal, where I'll play and then stomp on the loop pedal, and it just keeps doing that forever. And then I play over the top of it. You know, that's a loop pedal. Got plenty of demos of them. I'm a big loop pedal fan, but not backing tracks. But I mean, it's totally fine. That's what he likes. That's again, and then maybe I don't know if he learns stuff from tab books. That's totally fine. And I was talking there about chords. I was playing the D, right? D, C, and G, right? So if I was playing those chords, because I'm still holding down exactly the same chord, all the same notes in the same place. I'm just using those fingers instead, not using this one, which means it going to a C's dead easy. There's less movement, more efficient. That. Or, which, granted, your hand needs to be used to playing a guitar, just the whole concept of it, before you could really do that. That's not how I would suggest you play a G to start with. Also, if you're playing a G, technically those three, but I would always play that note as well. So I'd put those two on there, which is Shine On. You created, not Shine On. Wish You Were Here. Rather than it's just you're repeating a note. It's just because it's got one slightly higher string in it. It's a little bit nicer sounding than that one to me. And things like that. And again, we'll also look at a lot of what I became good at the start was I'm able to hit two strings like that, which is very different from if you're hitting all the strings. See what I mean? So how you do that is it's up to you. You can just bits where I've got my hand sitting on the bridge, which is a vitally important part if you're into any sort of metal, but in any sort of thing, try not to be wrist. Look at all your favourite guitar players, and obviously I'm one of them. Where my hand is, that kind of thing. You'll see me strumming, but you won't see me giving it that motion, because it's shite. It takes a while to get it. You see when I'm playing a power chord, it's my whole arm. It's not. All these things, also been able to do that. It's very useful. That's me just basically putting my hand on top of the strings there. Stop the ones that I'm hitting, because I've got see when I'm playing an E. There we go. It's an E power chord. I'm being pretty sure to. When I hit it, I'm only hitting these two strings. I'm not hitting the other ones. But if I do hit the other ones, this finger's kind of resting on the strings, stopping them buzzing, and then my thumb's kind of coming over the top, stopping that one buzz. So even if I did hit all the strings, see those two, that's what the other strings sound like. They're not. That's a bad one. I'll do a different. If I do D, it'll make more sense, because these are wrong. But okay. See what I mean? Or so a lot of that is just me not hitting those ones, or if you're hitting, you're kind of able to stop them, and you eventually end up with reflexes able to, when a note that shouldn't be ringing is ringing, you kind of, because you've done it so many times, you realise that, oh shit, that note's ringing, and you stop it with your hand, and being able to stop as well, like that. How you do that, you can lift your fingers off slightly, or you can use, I'll not lift my fingers off slightly. That's two ways of making it do that. What you don't want is, and then just let it ring. You know, when you get to the end of the song, you know, is it cocaine? It's different from, I can't even do it without making it ring. You know, so I get to the end of the song, not, or, stop it! Use your volume control as well. The first Paul Gilbert lesson I ever got was like, yeah, I like this video. Or the intense rock ones. Always use your volume control. So at the end of the song, you can go, ooh, there we go. It's off. Number of people I've been in the studio with where they're like, a bit more distortion on. So we just finished doing the song. Yeah, so could you play what is it we're doing for the second verse? And obviously in the studio that's a much louder thing, whereas what you could do is, what's the part of the part we doing at the second verse? Just that. That is just something, just do it, right? That's not like a pure, oh, I don't like to do that. There's different ways. No, just turn the guitar off when you're, even if you're having a jam. There's nothing more annoying than a beginner when they're sitting there and they're not even playing a guitar. It's just, they keep banging it off things. It's like, yeah, what's that you're saying? It's like, just fucking turn the guitar off, man. Really? So it's not just ringing. It's like, have some courtesy, have some sympathy, and have some taste. Enough ranting for today. I don't know, there might be enough. I've quite enjoyed doing these anyway. So tonight's, I'm going out tonight. I'm going to have a wee jam with my pals, and I am not going to, so no live stream tonight. I'll be doing it tomorrow night. I may or may not be drinking Bucky. I do actually have a third of a bottle there. I might drink that, but I don't know. For some reason I've gone off drinking. Maybe getting old. There's something wrong with me. I don't know. I kind of feel a wee bit weird just up here. I don't really feel like drinking. And you see, I can just, no one said this to me, but up here, oh, if you're worried you're drinking too much, no, I just, maybe I seem to have get bored with it. It's awful, isn't it? Rock on, catch you later, and enjoy playing the guitar, whatever, and don't, take everything anyone says with a slight grain of salt. And I'd be more tempted to listen to someone you like, and don't go too much for someone who's selling something. This is the best guitar in the world ever. Buy it off me at this link. I don't want to say, and I'm not saying Andertons, I don't want to say anything bad about them. I like that channel, they're good. But I mean, you can see Lee, more specifically, like the owner of the shop, being a little bit on that. I mean, obviously he's trying to make a living, so he's trying to sell guitars, and some of the guitars they've got like 10 grand and all that. And obviously a 10 grand guitar is better than this, right? It's like the Corker. It's obviously a better guitar than this. But do you need? No. If you're learning out, is that going to make any difference? No, you're just going to, and as well as, until you get used to handling a guitar, you'll notice me, I'm swinging it about and carrying it and stuff like that. I'm so used to having a guitar. I keep hitting it off the roof. That's different. But I don't tend to drop them. I don't hit it off tables and stuff just because I'm used to having it. Whereas if you do have a really expensive guitar and you've just started, or basically I pretty much guarantee within the first 2 weeks of playing the guitar, you are going to hit the guitar an absolute belter off a door frame when you're walking through it. It's going to happen. So, I've just spent £1,000 on a Fender, and you've just put a big dent in it from hitting it off a door from walking through. Whereas if it's a square one, it's not as bad. Doesn't make any difference to the sound, but it'll always annoy you. Always annoy you. I don't generally tend to put dents in guitars very often. Not for years. Just because just one of those things you just get used to it. You know what I mean? 50 minutes. I'm sorry. Rock on.